Early on in the match, later, if it was later, it would have paid off a little more. But Brad Martin's still fresh, and he has a resiliency to him. I don't know how much longer it will last now, being in the ring with Hernandez like this, but
well, each move takes a toll and a half when it's being delivered by Hernandez, especially a standing vertical suplex like this, and I can cook an egg in the time that he's holding Brad Martin in the air.
Over easy, please. But you know what? The strength being shown here. I'm gonna go get a soda, and I'll be back in a minute whenever he falls.
Sure, you go and do that. Maybe one for me as well. The blood to the head must be accumulating, and it was almost a bittersweet relief for Brad Martin to be sent crashing to the canvas. How did he kick out of that? That was blood to the head accumulated with a big thunderous shot to the back, and somehow he kicked out of that. I'm actually quite impressed. In comes Homicide one more time. And at this point, Brad Martin must be desperate to make a tag.
But he's going to want to take that breather and let Phil Atlas take over for a bit here. But with LAX's in-ring savvy and presence, knowing where they got to be in the ring at all times, I don't know if it's going to be any opportunity for Brad Martin to get a tag back in.
Oh, a tornado DDT attempt, not successful. And oh my goodness, Brad Martin able to move out of the way at the last second, and that will leave its mark. And one more time.
Martin looking to do some damage on the shoulders of Homicide.
And he certainly has done so, as Phil Atlas quickly bringing Homicide back to the ring, perhaps wisely, but the referee is distracted, and Brad Martin not able to get a pinfall attempt. Good tag team wrestling there from Brad Martin and Phil Atlas, cutting the ring in half, utilizing as much double team time as possible to try and... Oh, there's an armbar attempt there.
Going to work that shoulder. Phil Atlas, you trying to work on any submission techniques that he picked up overseas.
That's exactly what he's doing here. Almost successful, almost ended the match right there with an armbar. He has certainly succeeded in tenderizing that arm, and he continues to focus on the arm, which will be very advantageous for Atlas and Martin later in this matchup. And well, that's odd, as Brad Martin needs a little bit more rest outside the ring.
Brad Martin biding his time, knowing when he'll know when the right time is there.
Well, now would be the right time for Brad Martin to enter the ring, yes. A few extra seconds of help there. Well, there's a few extra seconds that they gave Homicide to recuperate, and apparently he's trying to recover here, a one-on-two situation, but instead, oh my goodness.
Atlas and Martin being able to work together as a cohesive unit here.
There's a cover the count, only a 2 count though. One more time. Atlas firmly believed that the match was over at that point, but it continues. And there's Big Hernandez just waiting to get into this matchup.
Well, now it's time for Phil Atlas and Brad Martin to cut off the ring there on Homicide.
I'm impressed by the submission style maneuvers that Phil Atlas is applying on Homicide, really wearing him down limb by limb, and quite successfully, might I add. Homicide needs to think of something to reverse his fortunes in this matchup right now. That arm is being constantly worked on and tenderized, and eventually he might not even be able to pick up either Atlas or Martin. Atlas and Martin must have watched some tapes. I mean, despite the fact that they think they're being underutilized or they always have to prove themselves, they certainly do spend the time and watch tapes on their opponents, and they must have identified that arm as being a key component to immobilizing Homicide and rendering him useless in any sort of offensive game.
Well, you know, you take out any limb, whether it be the legs or the arms or the neck, and you know what, it's gonna affect anybody's game with whatever style they possess.
Well, Homicide, known for those stinging right hands, he cannot deliver them after the punishment he's been taking. And once again, showing quality tag team wrestling here, using that 5 count to their advantage when both Atlas and Martin are able to stay in the ring. Once again, another tag. And this is a clinic right now. This is LAX, may be one of the best tag teams of all time, but I tell you what, oh my goodness, but hold that thought, as Homicide, as you can see, he's still holding that left arm tender.
You know, it might have been, so he didn't get not as much power as he wanted to in his offense against Brad Martin. Able to choke him off in the ring and keep him away from his tag partner.
You're absolutely right about that. All that work has paid off thus far for Atlas and Martin. And as I was saying, LAX may be one of the best. Was that a tag right there? The referee might have to. Yes, it was, wow. In fact, and there's a huge crossbody block ×2 by Hernandez. And oh my goodness, that's all the way up to the sky and back with his stature. And oh, that is the last thing I want to see coming to me, is this huge avalanche-like maneuver there. Oh my goodness, like a rag doll across the ring. Oh no. This will not, oh goodness, that did not end well for Brad Martin. Oh my goodness.
Hernandez just tossing him aside.
Just like they're action figures. But only a 2 count somehow. I cannot believe he kicked out of that. Once again, Homicide making his way into the ring. Ooh, and a chin breaker. Oh my goodness. Little shades of Bad News Brown there, the late great. Oh my God, look at that. Pick up suplex there. 1, 2.
A fraction of an inch away from victory there. You know what, Brad Martin, Phil, they need to step up their game even more so right now to make sure they can take out the LAX.
Well, they have the advantage right now on the shoulders, and what is going to happen here? No, Homicide able to reverse. Oh my goodness, that is trouble for Atlas and Martin. Homicide off the ropes now. Oh, look at that modified neck breaker right there by Homicide. In comes Hernandez, and this does not look good. Could this be all?
Phil Atlas in a bad way here.
Oh no! Look at that maneuver, Atlas and Martin in a world of trouble. There's the cover, the count, and yes, that is all it took for LAX to win this